Well, hello everybody. Blair Nightingale here. Market Monday. It's that time again. I told you last week we were going to be here, and we are here. So, as I said, Blair Nightingale, this is the Market Monday broadcast. We do it every day right here on Mondays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Most of our folks are joining us 6 p.m. Central Standard. But you can always find us here. If you want to make sure that you are always on this broadcast, make sure if you're joining us on YouTube, you ring the bell, you subscribe, and if you're on Facebook, you can like the page if you haven't already, and it will always let you know when there's going to be a broadcast. But like I said, we're going to do this Mondays every single week as we have been doing. If you're a regular attending student on this channel, go ahead, drop your name in there. Let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're from. Make sure, as you've heard me say many times, that you ask any questions that you might have along the way. If you're just joining us, I would especially ask you to go ahead and drop a comment in there. Let me know who you are and if you have any questions. I would love to hear from you and answer your questions, because today, listen, I say this probably almost every time. I could go back and look at the recordings and I'd be able to know. Do I say, oh, so excited. Today's topic is clutch. It's key, right? I am here to help you break through. I say this all the time on this channel. My job, the reason I do this, is to help you win. Ultimately, I want to take you deeper in a mindset and a skill set in your financial health that helps you win. Win at what? Whatever the goal is, whatever the challenge is before you. It's 2021. I've been walking around in 2021 telling people in my life, I look them in the eyes, I say, you know what? This is your year. This is your year. It's not empty promises. It's not just hype. I'm saying, no. We're going to have a fresh perspective. You know what's so powerful for me about hanging out with God? God is extremely positive. He's extremely hopeful. He has strategy. He has energy. He has resource. He has everything necessary to move forward. There's nothing that comes, surprises him, stays his hand. So he always has power and hope. And when I hang out with him, that is what I get. I get power and hope. So I look at this year and I don't know the challenges that lay ahead for me. I don't know the challenges that lay ahead for you, specifically financially. But I can tell you what, this year is going to be your year. Your year for what? Your year for new energy, your year for new skills, mindsets, breakthrough, seeing things you didn't see, forgetting things you need to forget, remembering things you need to remember, learning things you didn't know, but they're going to change the game for you this year. So that is what this is all about. And this particular broadcast, as I said, do I always say, wow, I'm so excited about today? I think I probably do. And the reason is because we pick topics that you are going to benefit from, that I believe that you will, that are going to help you what? Win, as I've been describing. So we're going to dive right into that. Couple of comments there. Nancy, I see you. Jim, okay, I got you, Jim. Nice to see you. Jeffrey again. Jeffrey always likes to let us know just where he's at and how the weather is out there in Colorado Springs. 28 degrees out there. So that's a little bit lower than me. I'm in Los Angeles still. I was at the beach today. The wind is insane out there. There's nobody on the beach. Waves are very high, sand in the face. It was interesting. Troy, I see you there. Excellent. What are we talking about today, guys? Game changer. If you're not trading, this is going to speak to you. If you are trading, this is going to speak to you, because we're talking about the market is today is now a good time, beneficial time, advantageous time, wise time to be getting into the stock market. I want to dive into that. Laura, I see you there. Happy Monday to you too. Terrence, I see you there as well. Glad to have you guys on here and taking a moment to say hi. You know, I know y'all are out there. It tells me how many of you are out there. It just doesn't tell me who you are. So I like it when you comment, because it lets me know who I'm talking to. And if you got any questions as we go on, you can let me know. Is now a good time For me, think about that, me, not just in general. Is this a good time for me to start trading? Now, let me say this right off the bat. Starting trading doesn't necessarily mean for everybody out there that you're going to go out today and buy stocks, right? That may not be where you're at today. Where you're at today might be, well, I've never really learned anything about this. I mean, I'm interested. I hear some things. Maybe I have learned a few things, but I'm aware that I don't know a lot. Okay, then that doesn't necessarily mean that start trading to you today means go buy stocks, but it might be I'm going to learn more because I plan on trading stocks. I need to get equipped to learn how. I need to know, well, what do I need to know? I mean, somebody out there is hearing me. I know that I don't know everything. I know enough to know that I don't know a lot, but I want to be able to trade. I want to understand the stock market. I want to be confident. I've heard testimonies from other people about what's possible. Is that possible for me? And is now a good time for me to do it? A couple of questions that are flying around in this conversation for maybe many of us out there. Is the bull market over? Or is it not over, but it's late? It's late in the game. So is now a good time? For those of you who don't know what I mean, a bull market is essentially, this is the phrase that Wall Street uses, when the market is going up, right? It's a bull market. It goes up. We want it to go up, okay? A bear market is the opposite, where it's moving down. We saw one of those last year. If you haven't heard those terms before, you can refer to some of our previous broadcasts where we cover that in more detail. But what you need to know here is the bull market over, or is it late and I should be concerned that it might be over? That might be one question out there. If you've looked at last year's movement, 2020's movement, does anybody else out there kind of feel like it's still just 2020? It's not, but it is. I keep saying this year, thinking that the year hasn't actually changed. That doesn't normally happen to me in January. This year it's happening. Maybe that's been happening to you too. I don't know. But after last year, you might ask, did I miss the move? I mean, it crashed. It crashed hard, and then it recovered really quickly, at least, compared to history. And then it moved to all-time highs, which is the next thing you might be saying. Well, we're at all-time highs, man. Is now a good time? I mean, gosh, I wish I knew how to trade last year, but I didn't. So maybe now is not such a good time, right? Some of these things, or a variation or a combination of all of them, might be floating around saying, well, I don't know. But I'm going to give you 7 reasons today, 7 reasons why my answer is now a good time to start trading is absolutely yes. Now is a great time to start trading. Good being to be desired, approved of, superb, outstanding. Is it a superb time, an outstanding time to start trading? Is it to be desired that we go, yes, I want to start trading? I'm going to say some of you out there too, you feel like you're being led in this direction, right? To learn more about the stock market, to look at trading. So let that guide you. Let that guide you as we go along here. I always tell people, we used to do a lot of live events, so I got to be in the room with you. And I'd always say, this is what David said in the Psalms. I keep the Lord always before me. That's not Blair. Okay? That's the Lord. Keep him always before you. Let that lead and guide your discernment of timing. But I'm going to tell you in the 7 reasons that I mentioned why there is an opportunity for you and I that is ripe for the picking, if you will. And I'm going to tell you what those reasons are right now. Now, I just mentioned a couple of things we might be asking ourselves saying, geez, I don't know. I don't know if I should get into the market right now because, the bull market's kind of late, isn't it? I mean, isn't it going to pull back at some point? Is it going to fall? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do. Did I miss the move? Okay. We're at all-time highs. It feels like maybe that's not what everything I just said. Let's talk about reason number one. The market is up and we don't know where it will go next. But I can tell you this year, 2021, will have new opportunities. New opportunities are always coming in the markets. New opportunities are always coming. That is not in question, right? I'm not allowed to make guarantees on here, okay? I'm not allowed to make guarantees, but I can tell you, with 100% certainty, new opportunities are coming in 2021 in the market, okay? And the question is, do we understand how to identify those opportunities? Do we know how to navigate those opportunities? So the question is, where will you be when those opportunities come? But let me put to rest the idea that the opportunities are behind us. See, the markets are moving every day. Okay, whenever the stock market is open, they're moving. The prices are moving. New companies are coming in. New growth is happening. Ones that have been getting beat up are recovering. Ones that have been soaring are getting beat up. Things are changing. Things are moving. And for you and I as traders, okay, we're talking differently than long-term buy and hold investing today. We're talking about trading. For us at Tradeway, it's about 3 days to 3 weeks approximately. That gives us a tremendous amount of the word I want to use is to be picky about what we're going to do, because we have a system to identify what we want to do. That's what we do at Tradeway. And that system, it shows us where the opportunities are. There's going to be new opportunities. There won't be any opportunities this year if the market just stops moving. I'll give you that. If it just stops moving, then we're out of luck. But I think it's safe to say that I can expect that that's not going to happen. You said, well, Blair, what if it goes down? What if it goes down the whole time? I'm going to come back to that in a later point, because you know what? As a trader, that doesn't bother me either. That doesn't bother me either. It can go down. So number one, hey, we don't know where it's going, but we know there'll be opportunities. The question is, will we be ready? Number two, it's never been easier. I'm telling you what, guys, it's never been easier to access the tools that you need to be a trader. There are some tools that in order to do this, the way that I do this, the way that we do this at Tradeway, you'll need some tools, and those tools used to be harder to come by, or they used to be more expensive to come by, depending on how far back you go. But in the last few years, even since I have been from when I was a student, and I was a student at Tradeway, okay? I wasn't always a part of the Tradeway team. I was a student. And by the way, I'm speaking to somebody out there. When I started, I knew this much. Zero. Not a math major, okay? Not even very good at math, really. Just being real, okay? Setting somebody free today. And I didn't know anything about the stock market, and I got started. Okay. So you need to know that. But even since the time that I started there, the tools, the accessibility and the affordability of the tools has changed dramatically. So that's number two. Right now, you have to recognize, is it a good time to start? It's never been an easier time to start setting up a business for trading. Okay. So moving on from there, what do I need? Well, I mentioned it's not only been more accessible, but it's been more affordable. What are we speaking about specifically? A brokerage account. You're going to need somebody at some point. Now, some of you out there might say, well, I don't know if I'm ready for that. That's okay. I'm just explaining to you the pieces that you will need. Okay. It's good to have somebody identify for us what we will need, even if that's not necessarily what we're going to go and do today. But you need a broker. Somebody is going to have to be the go-between you and the stock market so you can buy what you want to buy. There's some very popular brokers out there that are next to nothing. The costs are next to nothing. In fact, in some cases, they're free. Okay. Now, Tradeway has a partnership with a great brokerage firm called Tastyworks. Now, Tastyworks fees are incredibly low. And again, like I said, from when I started, way lower with more quality than they were when I started. That's a separate company from Tradeway, but that is something a lot of our students use. It's something I use. It's very inexpensive. So is it a good time to start? Well, think about this. There's going to be more opportunities. I don't need to worry about that. It's just a question of whether or not I can identify those opportunities. Number two, I need some tools. I need some actual practical tools to know how to do this. Well, how much is that going to cost me? How hard is that to set up? Never been easier to set up. Right here, you and I are talking right here on a laptop during a global pandemic, right? It's never been easier to access everything in an instant on your laptop or on your phone for that matter. You're going to need a broker. You're going to need a way to look at prices, charting. If you've been on here before, you've seen I'll share my screen. You'll be able to follow along with me as I look at stock prices. That has never been easier. You can pull it up, as I just said, in an instant. It's never been more affordable to do that. So that is what you need to start this business and do it the way that we do it so that you can take control of your own financial plane and begin to make confident decisions in the future for your investments. And so that is another reason why right now is a great time to start. But guess what? This is why some of you might say, well, I'm not really at that spot yet. Well, what about education? And that's the next one. Education has never been easier. And I feel like, okay, kind of a broken record there, Blair, but it's true. It's true. It's never been easier. Look what we're doing right here. Look what we do this every single week. And Tradeway does broadcasts like this to our students every day, throughout the day. I mentioned it on here a couple times in weeks past. We have a session where we'll have 150, 200 plus, sometimes more, depends on the day, of our students that are in one of the top tiers of our program. They'll be able to come on and interact with us coaches as we are looking at the stock market charts live, answering questions, looking at different positions and plays and all those things that we talk about. What are we doing? We're using this technology to go back and forth. And we're looking at the market together in a live trading environment. That's just one example. Okay. And I can tell you this with confidence. Tradeway is a premier. It is a leading trading, I was going to say world. It is a world-class trading investment firm that teaches you how to do this. And we do it right here like this. And that, of course, is my whole point. It's never been easier. It's online, it's comprehensive, and you get access to Tradeway coaches that care about your success. And they're looking to help you walk this process out in a biblical way, in a way that honors the Lord. And of course, that's a big part of who we are. Education has never been more accessible. And for that reason, I think it's a good time to learn to start trading. And if you're already learning to start trading, then the question is it a good time to actually start? And if you've got that access to people, then yes, it's a great time to start learning and growing, because we learn by doing is something that we help you walk through this process. We walk through the process with you. And so we want to help you keep moving forward, and you'll do that by knowing that I can engage with the markets right now and I have what I need to feel confident and to know that I'm going to learn what I need to learn to move forward in my journey. So education is huge, and that is a part of what is available today. What else? Well, next one up. You know, it's no secret. I've talked about this on here before. There has been a record number. I talked about a broker just a minute ago. A record number of brokerage accounts, okay, opened. Now I'm going to say this year, last year, in the last year, record numbers. Why? Well, a couple of reasons. One, the stock market was really in the news quite a bit. I mean, our last president definitely talked about the stock market, so that was some visibility. But there was a lot of really positive results in the stock market as well. There was a lot of volatility given the COVID shutdowns, a very quick recovery. And so that has put it kind of in the forefront. And then I think probably the biggest thing is that a lot of folks out there, and you may be one of them today, are saying, you know what, if there's an opportunity here, really, if there's really an opportunity for me here to learn to do something where I can take advantage of the fact that I live in a country that has the best financial markets in the world, and I can access the information that I need to access just on my computer, okay? That is something a lot of people are saying. This year, 2020, kicked me into gear and said, you know what? I want to know how to do this. I want to learn how to do this. And I think for probably some obvious reasons where things shifted, things got difficult, and I'm not sitting here saying today, if there is a challenge in your life, as of course, so many of us, if not all of us in the last 12 months have been challenged. Trading isn't something that we do for 2 weeks and turn around and make $1 million. Okay. This is a skill set that educated professionals are going to help you learn how to do this. It's a real legitimate thing. And so when I talk about education, obviously that is in mind. But I'm also saying there are a lot of people who realized I need to make some changes. I need to sow some seeds into myself and into my life to grow a skill set and obtain a mindset that gives me access to this whole trading thing, because it's such a powerful thing. And I think a lot of us said, this isn't just something that I want to leave in the back of my mind anymore. I can't tell you how many times I've heard students at Tradeway get started in the program and they said, you know what, Blair, this came up about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, a year and a half, 6 months, 5 years ago, right? And I just put it on the shelf. I put it on the back burner. And last year, a lot of people went, not anymore. Now, I'm not suggesting that everybody who signed up for a brokerage account last year was a Tradeway student. Okay, that would not be the case. I'm saying record numbers of people said, that's a priority to me now. Okay, so right now, with the demands of the season that we're in, knowing how to do this can be a huge asset for you. And for that reason, it is a good time to get started. Now, next one up, I mentioned this earlier. I don't mind. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm just going to pause for a second, make sure just want to check in on the comments here. Let's see, Jeffrey, how do unknowns help you? I'm not 100% sure which unknowns you're talking about. How do unknowns help you? So if Jeffrey, you can comment on that, I'll see that. Troy says, I've got a 2020 hangover. I see your response there, Jeffrey. Troy says, I have a 2020 hangover. I think a lot of us do. Bull strikes up, bear strikes down. Nancy, that's correct. You got that right. Jeffrey, GameStop was an opportunity today. GameStop was a pretty amazing thing. And I'm actually going to do an episode on what happened in GameStop. For those of you who are interested, what are they talking about? If you look up news on GameStop, their stock today, the ticker is GME. GME. I'm not making a recommendation that you go and buy GameStop, but you can see something pretty incredible happened in that stock today. And I'm going to do a full episode on that because there's a lot more going on there than meets the eye. Very, very interesting things that are changing in the market that I think you guys are going to want to know. But I will do that in a separate broadcast so I can give it the coverage that I think it deserves. But you're right, Jeffrey. There was some pretty crazy movement there. Troy says it takes some patience and time to learn to trade. So hang in there. Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is something that it is worth doing. I really believe that. But, it doesn't happen overnight. But I'll tell you what, it can take you a whole lot longer and cost you a whole lot more to learn how to do it if you know just enough to be dangerous. So we want to help you do that. Jeffrey says, how many people that signed up to trade in 2020 will be trading in 2022? It's a great question. I would direct you guys who are wondering that same thing back to I believe it's our very first Market Monday episode. Very first, I answered this question. Is it true that most traders, a vast majority of traders who start trading in the first year start trading, wash out in the first year of their trading. Okay, I did a whole episode on that. I'm going to give you a little bit of an inside peek. It's actually true. Statistically, it's true. But most of those people never get any education. They do not understand the skill set. They do not understand the disciplines of trading. And they know just enough, as I mentioned a moment ago, just enough to be dangerous. So, yes, it's a great opportunity. But remember, I mentioned that education piece. Of course, that's what we're here to help you do. Next one up, I mentioned that I don't actually mind if this market goes down. Some of you know what I'm going to say. I don't mind if the market goes down. I'm not afraid of trading right now or looking at the markets to trade. Why? Because it might go down. Because why? Because when it goes down, two things are true for me because I have the skill set that helps me see them. What are they? What are those two things I just mentioned? Number one, I know how to read the market, not guess. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't guess. But I know how to read the market and say, this is not a safe environment for me to be in. And so today I'm out. I know how to do that. We're teaching students how to do that. That's number one. Number two is when the market goes down, there is a potential for me to make money when it is dropping because I have skill sets that give me the opportunity to make money when the market is dropping. When you buy stocks, right? You're buying the stock. You want to buy low, sell high. I want to buy it at $10 a share. I'd like to sell it at $12 a share, right? That's the mindset of trading stocks, and that's great. But when it's dropping, what do? Well, you stay out. You can't trade stocks when it's dropping unless you what? Short the stock. I talked about that in a previous broadcast as well. That one's also quite a ways back into last year. I talked about shorting stocks. But what I'm referring to right now is not shorting stocks. Tradeway does not teach students to short stocks. So there is some other things I can do to potentially make money when the stock is moving down. That said, if I knew how to do that, would I be so concerned about staying on the sidelines because I'm afraid that I don't know if it's going to go down and I don't know when to know if it's going down too much? Okay. So those are the two things that I would say that keep me from saying, I got to be in a place of inactivity. Right. And that makes it a good time for me to be trading. The last thing I would say here, and let's think about this. Let's just zoom out a little bit. Okay. Not just trading, actively trading in the stock market, knowing how to do that, knowing how to manage risks, knowing how to protect my money, knowing how to do that is the business of trading. Okay. I've said this many times before. Amateurs think about what? Profits. We're all trading for profit. That's what we want. Amateurs focus on profits. Professionals focus on risk, which you may be happy to hear me say that because ultimately what I want to help you do is take advantage of these opportunities, but protect yourself, right? You want to be able to protect yourself and know that you know how to do that. But my last one here is, aside from the specifics of trading, like I just mentioned, learning how to think better, stronger, more fruitfully about money, upgrading that mindset, becoming a better and surrounding ourselves with people who are better stewards of money, to learn from them how to manage this opportunity in a biblical way. How do I pursue abundance in my life? Be faithful. Getting an upgrade in this area of my life, maybe just going, you know what, like you mentioned a few minutes ago, Blair, I don't know anything about this. Some friends of mine and I were together, this is probably almost 2 weeks ago now, and we got talking about classes we took in high school some time ago now, and how I think maybe there was one person in a room of 12 that said they learned basic taxes when they were in high school. So 12 years of school. and almost nothing on finances. One of the most abundant nations in the world, with incredible opportunities all around us. And one person. Now, I'd be willing to wager that in this audience today, there's a vast majority of you that had the same experience. You weren't really taught anything. And this isn't about pointing fingers or even complaining. It's just a reality. The financial deficit of training and understanding is typically very low unless you were in a family that made sure that you learned some of this, that valued some of this. And of course, Tradeway is in many ways, CEO David Mitchell and his family have made it their mission to teach other families what they had been taught for generations in their family. And of course, that's how I have benefited. But what is my point here? It's always a good time for you to say, I maybe worry about money a lot. You know, there's an old saying, you say money isn't everything, but I'd like to see you live without it. Now, I've relied, and I've talked about this extensively on this channel, I've relied on God more than money over the course of my life. And I have had some pretty extreme circumstances where that has been tested. Very tested. Other people at Tradeway even can testify that Blair has taken some significant risks trusting God more than $1. So I want to say that very clearly. We do not trust money more than God. And I have, not to boast in myself, but I have put my money where my mouth is on that before, because I have a history that I know my God is more powerful than my dollars. That said, he has always shown me deeper places, deeper levels, people who can show me those deeper places and levels of how powerful finances can really be in both our own wellness, our family's wellness, and the world around us. And to me, it's always a great time to get an upgrade in that. And that is something that we are about. So is it a good time for me to start? I would say based on that, absolutely. But not just that, because like I said today, 7 reasons, and these are not exhausted, right? This is not an exhaustive list, but these are reasons why I think you may consider, hey, right now, it is a good time. Not pressure. There's not pressure. It's not fear. We're not going to fall off a cliff tomorrow. Now, we don't know what's coming tomorrow. And I mentioned already, there was some things that happened last year, obviously, that made us go, I want to make a change. I want to make a change. So that said, I'm inviting and saying, no, we have an opportunity here, and we don't need to be afraid of that opportunity. And it's our role, our hope at Tradeway. I mentioned my job is to help you win, Well, that's what we want to do at Tradeway, okay? And that is what these reasons are all about. Catching up on some of the chats here. Yeah, excellent. You guys, as soon as we finish this broadcast, I'm talking right after, I'm going to go ahead. And in fact, I may even be able to put it up there for you right now. I'm going to invite you guys to join us. David Mitchell, I mentioned that just a minute ago. David Mitchell, CEO, founder of Tradeway. He is going to be doing an online session. He's going to specifically teach a powerful principle, biblical principle that he has been teaching for a long time called the Echo Principle, that I think is going to help take this conversation one step further and give you an upgrade in the way you're thinking. And that, of course, opens up some opportunities, letting God fill our minds with the way he sees things so that we can look ahead and see the way that he sees it. Because again, he's the kind of guy I want to hang out with because he is full of hope and resources, and that's what we want to make available. I'm going to post that link for you guys. It's going to show up right there on YouTube, and on Facebook as soon as we wrap this up here. So if we don't have any questions about the markets or anything right now, I'm going to wrap it up. Why did we do today's session? To help you understand, is now a good time? Is now a good time to start? Now, I'm going to say this last thing. We need to make a little bit of a separation between, is now a good time for me to go out and buy a stock, or is now a good time for me to look to be trading? Now, there's a difference, right? I'm not saying go out and buy stocks today. What criteria would we go and buy them under? What tells us that we should buy this one versus this one? And what tells me that I should buy it at 10 o'clock versus 12:30? Or tomorrow, Tuesday, versus maybe Friday? Those are the questions we want to answer for you. But that's the difference. I'm saying, is now a good time to be learning? Is now a good time to start your trading journey? The answer is absolutely yes. And then the next part of, what does it actually mean for me to know when to buy and sell? Well, that's what we're going to teach you how to do. And for those of you who are already in the program, you're already learning, I hope that you get some confidence from this to know, you know what? I'm one step ahead. I'm already on the journey. There are more opportunities coming. You may have done exactly what you hoped to do last year with your trading. And this year, we're going to be there to help you go to the next level. And if you didn't do last year what you wanted to do with your trading, 2021 is a fresh slate of opportunities for you and for me. And I have mentioned on this I think it was last week, I said this on Monday. I will be relocating out of the Southern California area. And a few things that God has done in my life, I just want to say I have a renewed and refreshed zeal, I think, for trading this year. So I'm looking to make some certain expansions in my trading. And I know that excitement is going to boil over into these broadcasts as well, because I'm really excited about some of the opportunities that are out there. And I have been in the past. I've been excited, but I just feel more excited right now than I have been. So that is an amazing thing too. I hope to share that with you. Watch for that link. I'm going to set it in there as soon as we get off. David Mitchell will be joining, and I think you guys will really benefit from that. So thank you so much, everybody, for being on here. We are back on Thursday doing our stock talk. We've done 2 episodes now, 2 episodes talking about stocks, big movers, hot movers, stratospheric stocks, which ones are getting crushed, which ones are not. And that's what we're doing on Stock Talk, which is hot, which is not. We talked about Twitter. We talked about Bitcoin last week. We talked about Tesla. Got another lineup for this Thursday, so we will see you then. Adam is asking, are in-person STEP seminars coming back soon? I'm actually glad you asked that, Adam. I'm going to tell you 2 things regarding that, okay? I feel like I'm being interviewed on TV, and I know that there's certain things I can say, and there's certain things I cannot say yet. So that's kind of fun. But I will give you an answer. Well, first of all, we have to look and see what's really going to happen as far as COVID. I mean, we're always going to have that being, at least in the immediate circumstances, that is going to be a part of our considerations for where and what those live events can be and can look like. So probably not the answer anyone wants to have, certainly not the answer that I want to give. But we do need to consider that those restrictions are still in place in a lot of ways, although different in different parts of the country. So that brings me to point number 2. I can't say anything specific on this broadcast today, but I can tell you that we do have some really new and exciting things. And I know, oh, Blair, that sounds very general. It's true. I understand, but it is actually true. We have some new and exciting things to announce in that area, and I cannot announce that today, but I can tell you that it is a very good time to be a Tradeway student. So some exciting things coming this year. You will see it. I promise you, you will see that at some point when the time is right, but I really appreciate you asking that question, Adam. We would love to get back out there sooner than later. to be doing these events in a live trading and teaching environment. So definitely looking in that direction as well, Adam. Thank you for that question. Okay, everybody. Thanks so much for being on here today. We will see you next time. Watch for that link. I'll post it in there in just a second. Bye now.